Hello, everybody, and it is Wonderful Wednesday with Tom Sicola. Now, Tom, you are a business executive coach, and
Yes.
I know we've had a one-to-one before, and we got on really well. So, but tell us more. Tell us about you, and how did you get into being a business executive coach?
So I've spent 14 years in corporate America, coaching, junior executives, people coming up the ranks, things of that nature, and always trying to figure out, what was the biggest impact that I could make for them. I mean, I could always help the company, increase the bottom line and all the rest of that stuff. But what I was really passionate about was the people. And so what I found was that as an executive coach, this gives me the opportunity to work with business leaders in all realms, whether it's small business, corporations across all the different sizes and things like that, to help them redefine what success means for them
Mhm.
and understand a path to get there. Because we find a lot of cases that as we're growing up, there's this idea that success means this title and this paycheck. And as we start to get more mature, and grow in the various things and life takes over, we start to realize that there's more to success than that. It's a balance between being there for our kids, being able to provide for such and such, being able to take time off enough so we're mentally healthy while still earning enough to do this and feeling satisfied and feeling a true sense of purpose in what we're doing. And so I really help people kind of work through those aspects of their professional life, as well as, hey, there are a lot of stresses that come along with running a business, whether it's because you're working with a team, you're the leader, you're trying to handle everything yourself as a solopreneur, and helping people to navigate those different challenges, all tied into one. So that's really comes in as a business executive coach.
And I love that because I couldn't agree more. It's what does success mean to the individual? And you're quite right. And as we evolve and as we grow up, that thing, it just changes.
Yeah.
It actually can become more about having a balance and harmony in our life. That can be a success, as
Yeah.
opposed to having the bigger paycheck, the bigger name, the whatever. I mean, obviously it's all lovely. However, it's the balance and the harmony. Who do you particularly like to work with?
I typically like to work with people who have already hit a certain level of success and now have realized that that success doesn't make sense to them anymore. And so we're at that point where they are ready to redefine the success, like I said, beyond the paycheck and the title. And you mentioned something before about the balance, because you'll find, at least I find, that a lot of times we talked about the work-life balance for many years. And then a couple of years ago, they shifted and they said, it's not about the work-life balance. It's about the work-life integration, because we all carry cell phones. We all have these smartphones where we're constantly connected. We're in front of our computers for all sorts of stuff constantly. So it's about integrating our work life and our private life so that, we can do all these things at the same time. The irony is the more that we're integrating, the more that we need that balance. Because what we're finding is because we are so integrated, we aren't taking time out for ourselves, solely for ourselves. We aren't disconnecting. We aren't looking after our mental and physical health and all the rest of the way we should be. And so we are not bringing our best selves to our work, and we're not staying our best selves when we're at home. So while we have figured out how to integrate, we still need to get back to that balance.
Yeah, interesting, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you like to work with people who are already set, achieving. However, their question might be, "What else can I do? What's next?" Is that
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. And a lot of times perhaps, I've gotten here. Why aren't I happy? Why aren't I satisfied? Why aren't I feeling fulfilled? And I think a lot of people, like myself, we hit a certain age, as you can tell by the various gray, right? That at some point we start to realize that maybe we have more time behind us than we have ahead of us. And so how do you want to spend that time? What's important? How do we feel fulfillment? It's the interesting concept of I think it's the Japanese have the term ichigai, right?
Yeah.
Is your purpose in life.
Mm.
And the people who wind up living the longest and being the healthiest are the ones who have identified what that purpose is. And I think it's really helpful for people to realize that, yeah, making money is great. Being successful and having the respect of peers is great. But if you're not feeling fulfilled in what you're doing and you're not waking up in the morning with a sense of purpose and going to bed at night feeling, wow, I accomplished something today, it starts to wear on you and you start to wonder, why am I doing this? And
Yeah.
that's where we get into that whole redefinition of success.
Yeah, absolutely. In fact, funny enough, I had a post on here not long ago, and I did a post on, and I call it the Ikigai. But is that actually how you meant to say it?
You know what? I'll have to look into that. I have always heard it referred to as the Ichigai.
Oh, oh, well, there you go. I love it. I love it when I make mistakes like that. If it's a mistake, indeed, I
You might
make.
not be wrong. Let's be clear. It might be me, but I'll have to get back to you on it.
I know, and it just doesn't matter, does it? Because the fact is, it's the same thing.
Yeah.
And you're right. It is. It's about doing something that you love, something that you can get paid for, that's something that's helps other people, and something that gives you purpose. And it's so important to do things that you love. And I don't mind saying I'm very fortunate, because I am in my Ishigai or my Ikigai, whichever one it is. So that's so yes. So I'm fortunate in that respect, and I actually discuss that with a lot of my clients as well. So it is important because people, they often say I'm not happy, and that's again, that's why my Facebook group that I have is called Becoming a Happier You.
Yeah.
Because, and I can't remember the name of the man who wrote it, but there's the book called The Gap and the Gain. And it's like 10% of the time you are happy, 10% of the time you are sad. And there's this bit in the middle. And the most people go into the gap, and there are more unhappy millionaires than there are happy millionaires.
Yeah.
And it's because they're not billionaires. And then they're thinking, well, I now need this, and then I'll be happy. And I'll only love myself when I'm this, when I've got
Yeah.
this amount of money in the bank account. And it's just ridiculous. However, if everybody looked back and thought, well, this time last year I was doing this, and now I'm doing this, then they would be in their gain, which is all about becoming a happier you. So yeah, absolutely. And I can't remember the name of the man who wrote that. Do you know it?
I don't know it, but it also resonates with me with the concept that trying to achieve happiness is a failing concept. Is it this idea that when you say, when I have this, I'll be happy. When I have this, I'll be happy. Is you never get there,
Yeah.
or it's fleeting. And so the idea is when you start to find your sense of purpose, and you are spending your time in a purposeful manner, you find joy in that. And joy and happiness are not the same thing. And you find joy and satisfaction in what you're doing, and all of a sudden those other things just don't matter anymore. And I do truly believe that you have a lot of people out there who have a lot of stuff, right,
Mm.
and aren't happy because they're chasing the wrong things.
Yeah. Well, again, apparently happy comes from gratitude, and joy comes from when we help other people, when we get those warm, fuzzy feelings.
Mm-hmm.
And you can only do that by giving, whether it be giving time, giving your energy, giving your love, giving your kindness to other people, whatever it is, because it doesn't always have to be monetary giving. It's, time is one of the most important things that we can give to people, our time. You can't put I don't think you put a monetary value on that. And it's, and that's so important. And that can give us our warm, fuzzy feelings, which you cannot buy on Amazon or
No,
on a
you
shelf
can't.
anywhere.
And I'd like to piggyback on something that you said there, is the idea of giving time to people. So one of the most important things that I provide when I'm working with the business leaders is I'm providing them time. I very well might be the only person that they will talk to in their day, their week, whatever, whose whole purpose is just to listen to them, to give them the time to talk about the things that are bothering them, to give them the opportunity to express what's concerning them, to talk through their problems or whatever else. As you get higher and higher into the org chart pyramid, you have less and less peers. You have less and less people who you feel you can confide in, less people who you feel like will give you an honest feedback, less people who will understand where you are or that you might feel comfortable talking to. And let's be real, even if you have, like me, my spouse is my best friend. All right, my wife is fantastic. I love her. I love telling her about the everything that I can. But there does come to be a point where I don't want to dump all the concerns of my business and all the other stuff on her. It's a very heavy load for me constantly being this one person. Well, as an executive coach, I can sit there with you, understanding what you're talking about, and give you an outlet to talk through these things, come up with solutions without you constantly dumping on these other people. And when I do that, I am giving you my time. And when I'm giving you my time, my cell phone is off, my smartwatch is frequently off my wrist. If we're doing it via Zoom, any other screen I have is off.
Mm.
It is my time to give to you 100%. And
Yeah.
that's part of the value that I'm bringing to you as an executive coach.
Yeah, I agree. And I work like that. Everything's on airplane mode. It's
Yeah.
like, it's so true. And it's so important, because when people are, say, with us, because we, you know, it's, they are able to be vulnerable.
Yeah.
And that's what it's about. Because you're right. A man so often, or a woman, whoever it is, who's the bread earner or whatever's going on in the partnership, they may feel as though they have to be the rock.
Yeah.
And therefore they cannot show that vulnerability to anybody else, you know,
Yeah.
to the family, because otherwise it then just diminishes them somehow. And so that's why you have such an important role. Brilliant. I love it. I
Yeah.
love it.
And I should put out, a lot of people will hear what I'm saying and say, well, how is that different from life coaching or some of this other stuff? In the context of the professional world, there are different stresses. There are different things that come up by having to lead people with different personalities, by having conflicting priorities and various other things. And so I do think that in a professional environment, we do take on different stresses. And so to have someone who can talk and understand in those and help you find a path forward in that professional setting, I think that's valuable. And I think that's, even though I might be talking to you and helping you work through your particular problems, it's with that professional mindset that's integrated into it.
Yeah.
So there is a little bit, it's different than, again, like the life coaches that might be out there, or, therapists who are coming from a very different angle. I think you would probably say that as a therapist, which is really what I believe that the type of things you're doing is you're finding out what it is in the past that might be triggering a problem or this blockage for them and helping them alleviate that blockage and moving forward.
Generally do that. Absolutely. It'd be like limiting beliefs. It's like, why can't, they feel stuck, and they can't move forward. And it's so, yeah, I mean, I get to it. I work effectively and efficiently, and it's like, it's done. And then they can move on. And that we would probably still work with a life coach or an executive coach like yourself. So absolutely.
And so that's not what I do. My job is not to dig into their past and figure out what's wrong. My job is to have them come to me with something that they've identified that they're struggling with and want to work on, and then create the space for them to identify the path forward that resonates with them, that works with them, and has enough of a foundation with them that they will not only identify it, but will move forward with it. Because it's great to say, well, I'm going to do this, but if you don't do it, what's the difference? But if we can truly find what it is that's motivating you and that you're trying to move forward to, then, especially if you're the one who's identified it, because I tell you what to do, you're not interested. If you figure out what you need to do, now you're invested, and we help clear the path and find the path forward and give you the opportunity to then succeed the way you are comfortable, in how you work, act, it's everything.
Yeah. And you're right. I mean, it's not always people's past stuff anyway. It can be the present that is stopping it. It's a relationship or work colleagues, or it's whatever's going, so you have to find out, you have to get curious.
Yeah.
Find out what it is.
Yes.
And they do actually have all the answers inside of them. And that's what I always try and do. I don't tell anybody what to do. I guide them, and we figure it out together. It's just that I have some really cool techniques to get rid of any past issues.
Yeah. And I love what you just said there is the answers are inside of them. It's the difference between coaching and consulting. A consulting, consultant gets called in because they have experience and you're expecting them to tell you what to do. A coach's or a therapist's job is to really help bring out from you what you probably aren't admitting to yourself, and help you to identify, accept, and then be able to use that to move forward.
Yeah, brilliant. Oh, I expect I could talk to you all day long, Tom. So this is marvelous. Okay, so we're going to put all of your links in the message, above or below or whatever, so that people can get in touch with you.
Okay.
And this has been wonderful. So thank you, Tom. Thanks for talking to me, and I hope people get in touch with you. So it's goodbye from me, Claudia Ricard, and it's goodbye from
Tom Sicola. So thank you very much for the time.
All right. Take care, everybody. Bye.